I don't want to talk about how much whiskey I just got on my blazer. Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us on an After Hours episode here. Jay and I were just kind of talking and decided how we wanted to frame this up for you guys and to let you know about the After Hours show and what it is that we're doing. And I guess we kind of landed on just explaining that, you know, we talk whiskey all the time. And a lot of that is sort of just deciding what we're going to use for content, how we're going to do it, and kind of going over the fact that there's only so many hours in a day. We stream on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., which is great and fun, but we wanted to bring a little bit more content out to you guys. And one of the best ways to do it was to give you something after hours. So we kind of have these things that extend on into the evening after we record. We just wanted to share it with you.
Yeah, man. I mean, after hours, what a great time. Like, we only have so many hours in the night, so I'm looking forward. I think this is going to be a great time. And after hours are the quietest. That's when all the fun happens anyways.
Yeah, it definitely gets the weirdest, which is usually pretty fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
So one of the things that Jay and I were talking about here is, as we transition, we're kind of winding down the clock here on 2020, moving into the next calendar year. And, you know, after we've selected a handful of single barrels, just what is it, just about 10 for 2020?
Yeah, 10 sounds right. I think 12 total, but one or two flakes, so 10 it is.
And as we move forward here, we're kind of trying to pick out here, is 2021 going to be a year where blended whiskey sort of takes a little bit more of a stronger role, maybe a driver's seat position, as opposed to single barrel selections? What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been talking about it. There have been a million releases in 2020, which is great. Like, that's everything us whiskey nerds like. And we've picked a lot of single barrels. We've done them for our bourbon. I've picked a bunch for myself. I've picked a bunch for Aficionados group. We've even done some for Sealbox and Chattanooga and stuff. But I can't help but feel like with some of these new releases we're seeing, like 2021, I think might be the year of blended whiskey. You know, not to say that single barrels are going to go away or even diminish in popularity, but like, we've had some crazy good blends this year. And we were talking about it, you know, just a couple of weeks ago in our Thanksgiving episode. But like, there's some insane American blended whiskey out there, and people aren't really talking about it, I don't think.
No, totally. And I mean, it's not that, like you said, I don't think single barrel stuff is going to go away. I don't think it'll diminish. If anything, it'll probably continue to grow. Oh, if you look at, you know, even smaller distilleries now understand that there's a demand for single barrel products. They need to offer these selections. Groups want them, you know, fans, customers, consumers, everybody's kind of gobbling these things up. And with that trend in place, it's not going to move. So what else can they offer to sort of extend that enthusiastic crowd and olive branch? Be like, look, we have single barrels. You want them, we have them. But I mean, again, a barrel of whiskey goes only so far. Where do you sort of move forward with that? And I think the biggest way for them to do it is with great blended whiskey, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, great point too. Like, you know, single barrels are never going to go away. It's like, I think Bulleit is going to share our spotlight for tonight. Like, Bulleit has rolled out some crazy single barrel program. They're using great well-aged whiskey. They're contracting it for distillation, using really good recipes from really prolific distillers. But at the same time, they rolled out a product that I think got a little bit less fanfare, and it's totally undeserving. This is the Bulleit Bourbon, the Blenders Select by Ebony Major for Bulleit. This is batch 1, but they quietly rolled this thing out along with all of their expansions. And I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan. Like, I picked it up thinking, you know, it looks pretty. I need to add it to the set. I need to compare it, but I'm denting this thing and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's an absolutely outstanding expression. I mean, I really didn't know what to think of it. I mean, it wasn't blown up out of proportion anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't say it's underrated, but I wouldn't say that everybody in the world is going crazy for it. So it's something where I was kind of like, let me try one of those. I had a friend who happened to be at a store, sent me a picture, said, hey, do you want one of these? It was, I think, 55 or 60 bucks. You know, reasonably priced, whatever it is. And I was like, yeah, sure, grab me one of those and send it up. Let's try it out. And it took all of 3 seconds to say, shit, I wish I bought more of these, because they're great.
I mean, I did the same thing, man. So I was in Chicago. I was rocking Binny's. I love Oak Brook Binny's. I spend a lot of time there. I spend more than I'd like to admit there.
Yep.
But, you know, we couldn't get this in Wisconsin where I live. So I thought, you know, I'll just try it. Like, I'm picking up the single barrel also. You know, how bad can it be? And then I got home and I realized I made a terrible mistake. Like, I only bought one bottle, and I don't know when I'm going to get back to Chicago because COVID and the holidays and travel. And that's like a huge regret. Like, that's up there in the regrets of 2020. Like, I should have bought a couple more of these.
Yeah, I would have happily had 3 of these, and even at 55, $60, whatever it was at the time, 3 of these I think would have been the answer because I think, I'm about halfway through this bottle here. It's just one of those ones that I keep finding myself reaching for, and it's like there's some nights where a barrel proof is the only way to do it.
Yeah,
you want that punch, you want that long finish. You don't mind a little bit of punishment on the higher ABV. And then there's some nights where you want something low, in the 90s or maybe even a little lower. But this being proof rated at 100, it's just like I haven't had a night where I'm like, no, you know what, I don't really want that. So when I'm kind of going through my bar and looking at what I'm going to pick out, this is one of those things that just always kind of jumps out at me like, hey man, I'm a caramel bomb. Hey, there's plenty of fruit over here. Like, I'm pick this up, have a little taste, you're going to like it. And shit, man, it's good every time.
And that's a great point too. Like, this keeps jumping out at me, and like we'll get in some tasting notes here in a minute. I'm even amazed. It works great in a cocktail. Like 50% ABV, I think is like the butter zone to me for American whiskey. Like, yeah, there's rough nights. I need barrel proof. There's some nights where I just want something easy, but 50% is always going to scratch that itch for me.
Yeah.
I think for the most part. And so this is batch 1. I don't know how many batches they're going to do. I don't know how repetitive, like Elijah Craig, we get 3 batches a year. I don't know what the plan is, but blending is super hard. Like blending is way harder than rolling out a single barrel programs. Like props to Bulleit for an Ebony Major, and she's kind of the new Nancy Fraley, who's been a veteran and a titan of blending. But like that's hard work to do. So them nailing batch 1 with such kind of a tough object, I think is really impressive.
Sure, this is labeled as batch number 1, which makes you think there will be more. But not knowing the release schedule, is this going to be something where there are 2 or 3 or 4 releases a year? And also, if so, how do I get more batch 1 so I could compare it to 2 and then 3? Like, these are the questions that I have. And among those questions is, where do these blended products land in comparison to single barrel products as we move forward? Because if they're going to be releasing stuff like Bulleit Blender Select, how does that do against the Bulleit single barrel? I mean, at some point, we're going to be chasing one and not the other.
So if you can't find it where you are and you're traveling soon, and you're being safe about it with COVID, check out stores, see if you can find this, because it's not everywhere, but it should be. Oh man,
it's nice.
It's got a nice nose to it. What are you picking up?
I get a ton of caramel on this thing. Maybe even a little bit of light brown sugar.
Caramel brown sugar. I get like a nice blackberry blueberry note.
Yeah, there's some fruit in there. I don't think I landed on berry with it, but it was.
Or maybe even a little
fruit.
Strawberry cream. It's not tannin heavy.
I could
not super peppery.
Yep.
But it is sweet. It's very enticing.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit of pie crust in the background, but like pretty well toasted.
Yeah. So on the palate, I don't know that I would peg this for 50%. I would be pretty hard pressed. I don't know. I'd give this 45%. It drinks very well for the proof. Our samples here have been resting for as long as we've been talking, so not too long.
Yeah, this is nice, man.
It is low on oak, but it has a really big brown sugar, brown butter note.
Yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of... Man, you're right. There isn't really a ton of like pepper or kick or spice in the back there, but that oak, I could do with a little bit of it when I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
But geez, what it does well is that homemade toffee, brown butter, dark caramel.
I noticed a little more oak on the back palate. It's there.
Yeah, it sits there, but it's not like I kind of like. I also like a little bit more oak than you do, so I wanted to kind of grab on a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is, if I had to sum it up in like just a couple of notes, I would say that it is sweet, it's mildly dark, and just a hint of like a pastry.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The finish to me, long finish, but yeah, sweet kind of pastry, like not like cannoli has that really great like the frosting filling buttercream with a little bit of light fruit and toffee, and creme brulee is really what's jumping at me here on the finish. But
you had me at cannoli.
Man, I haven't had a cannoli in so long. But this kind of reminds me of that really nice combination of notes. And
Geez, now that you say that, I'm picturing like a cannoli with the vanilla cream, little caramel drizzle, and some powdered sugar on top.
100%.
Yeah.
Little chocolate chip, just a little bit. Though.
Oh yeah, the mini ones too.
Yeah, yeah.
Somehow it tastes like the mini ones, not the regular one.
So I think, I mean, if we had to name this, and this is probably why we do what we do, and we're not in marketing, I would call this cannoli batch. I think.
Yep.
Blender
totally
select.
cannoli.
Totally cannoli. Hell yeah.
Yep.
That's a
Maybe
great
we
description.
should be in marketing.
Maybe we should. Maybe, I mean,
geniuses.
Man, boy, did we pick the wrong job.
Yeah, seriously.
So what do you think, John? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Totally thumbs up, man. All the way. I love this stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think 2021 is going to be a super interesting year. I don't think I'm ready to say that single barrels are dead yet, but I don't know about you, but I'm going to be buying a lot more blends in 2021.
Absolutely, man. I'm not done with single barrels, but I am not done with the blends either. I want to see more of them.
I'm just getting started with these, so
totally.
Good night, y'all.
Cheers.